Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
breaking new update. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I've been covering the case of Sebastian Drake Rogers since March 2024, shortly after the incident happened. At Night Intelligence Agency has come in along with Dog the Bounty Hunter, who they partner with on several different cases. Sebastian Drake Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from inside his locked home on February 26 around 12 midnight to 6 a.m., according to his mother. New images and videos are being released about this case now. Stay tuned. Breaking new video is being released. Check this out. This is Sebastian Drake Rogers and his mother, Cathy Proudfoot, sitting at the Texas Roadhouse Grill on February 25th, 2024 at 6 o'clock at night, appearing to be eating dinner and chatting amongst each other. What you notice is Cathy picking up the phone and taking photos of Sebastian where it appears he doesn't know he's being photographed. The entire time that they're eating at this restaurant, it appears Cathy is occupied by her phone and not really paying much attention to her son, except to snap these photos. And why were these photos not released to the public when he went missing on February 26th? Please look over the footage and let me know if you see anything out of the ordinary. Please send any information that you have related to this video to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. That's bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Sebastian Rogers has not been seen again by a third party since this video was captured. He was reported missing the next morning at 6:33 a.m. by his stepfather that was 3 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee. Allegedly, when Cathy woke up at 6 a.m., Sebastian was not in his bed. Many people speculate and assume that the mom and stepdad had something to do with his disappearance. There was 5 CPS reports. One of those reports are still active. Their behavior has been odd since his disappearance. And we've learned recently that Cathy and Chris have been trying to find a place to put Sebastian since October of 2022. Since he disappeared, they have hired the most vile people to work for them, to cause distractions, to cause reputational and personal harm to those searching for their son. We're also learning that another affiliate of the mom and stepfather have filed suit against the father of Sebastian Drake Rogers, the only person that has been searching for him from the family. He is brought in at Night Intelligence Agency as well as Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he has worked tirelessly to find answers to bring his son home and to bring his son home safely. The reward being offered by At Night Intelligence Agency as well as Dog the Bounty Hunter has been increased to $225,155 to anybody that has any information leading to the whereabouts of Sebastian Drake Rogers or the successful prosecution of those that are responsible for his disappearance. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Today marks Sebastian Drake Rogers' 16th birthday, and his father doesn't get to celebrate with his son today. So if you have any information to Sebastian's whereabouts, please reach out to law enforcement today. Why, good morning, all of my beautiful people here on YouTube. It's nice to see you this wonderful Manic Monday. I hope everybody is having and had a great weekend. And the folks that joined us for church, I just want to thank you again for coming and always supporting us as well as your spiritual health. ER Blues first to say hello this morning, followed by Lisa B. Always. It's nice to see you. MJ, good morning, my love. I hope you're doing well. We have Cheryl in the house, Rory, Don, Southern Grammy. I hope you're doing well today, my love. I hope you're doing well. Houston,
Gypsy's up in the house. Our beautiful mod guidance is here. Good to see you, Carla. Melanie, Peggy, it's nice to see you. Denise, Brown Eye Girls, it's nice to see you, Football Mom, as always. Amanda, good morning. Elizabeth, Shining Star, it's nice to have you as well. Peggy, Phil, Shelly, Sue, and YouTuber, good morning. Hope, it's nice to see you. Mona, Show Poodle, Tina, Charlie, Shelly, and Jasper, good morning. Our beautiful ginger girls up in the house, along with Gigi. Cynthia, good morning. Warrior River, is that River? Did you change your name again? I gotta know. Is that you? Is that you hiding behind the warrior? Robin, it's nice to see you. April, good morning. Truth in Time. Barb, West Virginia, Holla Girl, Ode to the Road. I love it. Beth B, good morning. Teresa, Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. Decor and more. Good morning, BJ Boop. A little bit of everything. Karen's up in the house. Karen P and Karen S, good morning. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Oma, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Izzy Girls up in the house this morning. Miss Ricky, it's nice to see you as well. Alicia, good morning, love. Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy here as always. It's nice to see you guys. Aileen, it's nice to see you as well. Jackie, Jenna, good morning. Stephanie, good morning. And everybody, SRK, Mally Cat, I'm getting down to our late arrivals. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Written in the stars, nice to see you. Faye, good morning. Santa Claus is coming to town. Ho, ho, ho. Let's go. It's nice to see you. All right. So everybody else that's up in the house, it's nice to see. I see Granny's here. Donna, good morning. Good morning. Jay Zolly, it's nice to see you. Cad Mom, good morning. Good morning. So we have a lot to go over. We've been going over a very distinct pattern here on this show. We were starting off with the kind of the timeline of events, going through all of the information that we had. Let's just kind of go over it. I was not prepared. I probably should have been. Sorry, that's my fault. I know I took pictures of it. I've already erased the board though. So give me a second and let me see if I can find them. And we'll go over that. So what we have done is go over the timeline, identifying the times that we do know, and of course the times that we do not know. And it's a little concerning because there's a lot of timeline events that, this far out, we usually have the information on at least the timeline, a decent timeline. And I must have moved that over in some of my cleaning out. I've been trying to clean out because I'm completely out of memory. So I must have moved those over, but I had photos of everything that we went through. And the timeline basically is that we have key critical times that's all we know. For example, we know that they arrived home. We don't know what time, right? We don't know what time they actually made it back to the house. We don't know the specific time that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers took the garbage out to the road, but we do know that he went to bed at exactly 9 o'clock. We know that the mom fell asleep on the couch at exactly 10 o'clock. We know that the stepfather woke them up shortly before midnight to have her go to the bed and put the dogs away. And we know that she was asleep by midnight. So we know certain things that they want us to know as far as critical timing, but everything else around those timing has been inconsistent, to say the least. And then we're broke it down even further to talk about what statements have been made by law enforcement, the mom, the dad, or the stepfather as to what would make Sebastian leave the home. We're learning from the mom that they had a good weekend, right? We've heard that. We heard that he was very happy the day that he was out doing all these things at BJ's and stuff like that. I do trust the guidance of some parents that have autistic children, because they seem to have the most experience in looking at a child, discerning whether this child is, about to have a meltdown, about to have, a little tick, whether they're happy, unhappy, tired. We don't know this child. And I think it was hit a little bit on Mr. and Mrs. E last night about how they don't know the baseline. So they don't know what type of mood Sebastian really is. So we have to go to some statements that were made by Seth Rogers, which would have that baseline for his son. And when we hear how he describes that day or describes his son's behavior, he doesn't think his son is as happy as that he would normally be when he has a day of fun. So we have to kind of gauge this ourselves, make your own personal determination on whether you feel that Sebastian was starting to develop maybe some overstimulation. It doesn't sound like that he was having a meltdown or perceived to have a meltdown. It doesn't seem like he was very happy. It does seem like there were some words exchanged that weren't really happy-go-lucky type of words between his mom and his mom and him at the table. But nothing that we've seen so far, other than the lights video on the outside of the house, has really given us any cause for alarm based on what we've seen, without all the other knowledge, all the other interviews, all the inconsistencies and stuff, just on the face of everything. Okay. If you were looking at all of this, nothing, there's some odd behaviors, such as the looking around from table to table, trying to see if it appeared that she was looking for someone. Could it have been a waiter or wait staff? I don't know. When you look at the table, it doesn't seem like anything's missing or anything needs to be handled by a wait staff, but you just never know. It could have been something like a bottle of ketchup that they needed, or some more butter, for all we know. We don't know. What we do find odd is that there was somebody waiting by the vehicle for Katie, or maybe not waiting, passing through. But it appears that somebody was having a conversation because their hands were moving. You could clearly see the hands were moving in a conversation, a non-confrontational conversation. The stance of the mom putting her hand on the car, very non-confrontational, non-fearful type of engagement or interaction there. So I think at this point, we don't know who the green hoodie is. I think that is going to be the first critical thing that needs to be resolved in this case, is who is he and what did he hear and what kind of conversations were exchanged. It may be very innocent and may be easily explained away. Either way, this green hoodie guy is being sought for information by the At Night Media or At Night Intelligence Agency group, as well as Dog the Bounty Hunter. So if you guys know who he is, I've made a real big push this morning on all social medias, Facebook, X, as well as Instagram, to try to identify this hoodie guy and maybe just, at least, if nothing more, clear him, right? Just to make sure that there is nothing to see over here, right? I'm not going to sit, based on what I say that he's involved, not involved, or anything like that. I personally don't know, and I don't want to make that leap, because I've always been honest with my audience. In any kind of, variation or something that didn't bode with the statements, I've tried to explain why I feel certain ways that I feel if something's not factual and I have other reasons to feel this way. But for the most part, I do try to be as honest and forthright with my audience about what I'm seeing. Whether I think somebody is a person of interest in a case or not, I still try as hard as I can to analyze it and give you guys my personal opinion. I'm not saying that there's nothing to see in this video at all, but until we have further information, I think it would be really problematic for us to attest that this green hoodie guy had something to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, based on what has been released so far. Yes, I definitely think that the person needs to be questioned. I think they need to find out what kind of conversation they had, what did he see, what did he look at, and make the determination of that. Now, if we want to know, they are saying LE. In my opinion, too many inconsistencies in their story. They have lawyered up. Says, have they lawyered up? Have they lawyered up? I don't know if we've heard. I mean, we know that they've got lawyers that are friends. We definitely know that their behaviors after that appear that they have spoken or have been consulted by an attorney to keep their mouth shut, especially with timeline issues that could get them in trouble later down the road. But do we know that they've lawyered up? Do they have we know that they have a lawyer for the case between me and them, but do they have a lawyer for, say, a criminal defense attorney, so to speak? I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been publicly announced. If so, if you see someone passing between your car and another, wouldn't you wait for them to get through? Yes, that's exactly what I agree with that. Christina, I agree with that. But there was a conversation there. You saw, it didn't seem like, can you let me through, please? It didn't seem like that conversation. I mean, the hands were going like this. So it sounds like they were having a conversation. So I'm interested in what words were exchanged. It wasn't just a short, can I pass, please? That takes 2 seconds. This was a little more involved, in my opinion. And with her looking around the Texas Roadhouse, kind of gives you the EBGBs. But if she didn't have a missing child, would we think that these behaviors would have been out of the ordinary? And in my opinion, the answer is no. So we need more information. And I think the critical information to resolve this in everybody's mind, close that worry box, is do a big push to find out the identity of Green Hoodie, not to publicly identify Green Hoodie, but so that the investigators there in Tennessee can at least question the knowledge of this anonymous person that we don't know. So if anybody has seen that hoodie, knows what's on that hoodie, might be a first step. Let's try to identify the wording on there. I've slowed it down. I've looked at it. It could be a multitude of things. Somebody's saying it says United States Marine Corps or USMC. I didn't see that on there. But I don't know. The way the angle is, trying to blow it up, it distorts the image even more. So it's really been very difficult to try to understand or, identify what lettering was on that green hoodie and whatnot. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Good morning, Passion Flower. A conversation, or was she pissed? She's very selfish, in my opinion. There was a fuss because those guys stopped and looked. It seemed like there was a fuss, but that could have been a couple of other things, because if you notice, they weren't the only ones out in the parking lot. There was a woman walking over from the side over to a vehicle. There may have been some type of a conversation that got loud with that vehicle. There may have been them jamming up the drive and somebody honked the horn and all of their heads turned. I mean, you see there's so many things that it could be without the sound. We don't know. We have no earthly idea, and we can assume quite a bit, but to be honest with you, there's no information that say the noise came from their conversation, because there was other things going on there that we could clearly see behind this, in the background. So we have to take that into consideration as well. And then after we did all of the timeline stuff of I think we did it over a day or 2-day period related to the timeline, really breaking that down of what we know to be solid times, alleged solid times, and what we just don't know. And I think it's still critical that it's very important to me that why, after all of this, after almost 10 months, we still don't know whether he took a shower or brushed his teeth before he went to bed is obviously something that kind of bothers me a little bit. Girl Mom says, I think the most important part inside the Texas Roadhouse, she took pictures and zoomed in. The second, it's that, you know what, Girl Mom, I got to be honest with you, because of the state of affairs that we're at today, it really does imply to me she was trying to get happy-go-lucky photos of him. And that's not sitting easy with me, again, in the state of affairs that we're at this moment. This 15-year-old child is missing. And she clearly needed a photo that she shoved right into Seth's face. And the only one that he was smiling of that weekend was the one she took Saturday, trying to pawn off as a Sunday photo. You know? And then to see her snapping these photos at this restaurant, trying to catch him in a good mood or something like that, really does bother me. And it sits on my shoulders right now, because to me, it makes me feel very uncomfortable, you know, because it's starting to, because I didn't, and I have been honest with my audience, you know, I'm not a believer of this premeditation aspect of it. You know, there's a lot of people that have sent me a lot of emails and things over the last several months, believing that this was a premeditated type of disappearance. And these photos, to me, don't make me feel comfortable in that circumstance, because there was a reason why she was being so discreet. I do camera footage all day long. You guys see me with a camera in my hand. Okay. Now granted, no, but you know, these people aren't content creators and don't cover, you know, cases and reporting and stuff like that. I get that. But if you look around to a lot of the other people, they don't have a problem having their camera out and go click, smile, click, right? Even at the Texas Roadhouse, or even going and asking the wait staff, can you take a picture of our table? How many times have you guys all done that, right? With family and friends, you want all of you in the picture. So you ask the wait staff to take the photo. It's no big deal. So why were these so discreetly taken? That is a problem for me, and it's not sitting easy on me, but I don't really have an opinion just now. But I am, you know, I kind of understand why people have the premeditated, you know, type of theory going on in their minds. And this here kind of bodes in with that theory. So I don't know what to make of it just quite yet. But after we went through the timeline, we started going over the reasons why Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers would not leave his home, right? And we went back to the videos of all three parents, the mom, the stepfather, as well as the biological father, Seth Rogers, which we absolutely adore on this channel. We learned a lot, and every time we listened to how they described Sebastian, his likes and dislikes, it gave us more and more reasons why we do not believe the child walked out of the house. We even made a list. I've got this list over here. I can pretty much see it. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons why Sebastian may leave the house. None that are good. And then we have, you know, at least 4 times or 5 times more that on the other side as to why he wouldn't leave. Never left before, not an eloper, had no shoes, had no jacket. It was cold, has a grass allergy, hates bugs, hates dirt, doesn't like dirty water, left all devices at home, took no clothes or personal items with him. We heard the teachers say that there's no way he would leave without personal items, especially his shoes. Took no money or other nutrition with him. Took no food or other nutrition with him. Took no money. Doesn't like the dark. Doesn't like loud noises. These are all the things that came from the parents. The parents. No medication, outside of routine. Left his beloved pets. Nowhere to sleep. Fear of strangers. Had no one to help him. So that's kind of where we are. And then over the last 24, 48 hours, there's been a release of these videos. We've talked about what we've seen on these videos. And then as of last night, we started going through, you know, talking about law enforcement and what kind of evidence they may or may not have related to this case and what they would be looking for when it came to this case. Oh, I missed this. Patty gifted 1 Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership from Patty, please don't forget to tell her thank you. And Pam, thank you so much, Pamela, 5 gifted Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you've received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, please don't forget to tell Pamela. Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you. So now we come over here, and I have to say that this is without a doubt a suspicious missing child, okay? That would be my assessment of this case, hands down, a suspicious missing child case. And in a suspicious missing child case like Sebastian Rogers, law enforcement typically collects and analyzes a variety and various types of evidence. Here are the kinds of evidence likely gathered in this case. So when it comes to the potential evidence collected, you're looking at things like surveillance footage. We heard them ask all the community, everybody in their neighborhood, to check their Ring doorbell footage, their trail camera footage, to look inside any type of outbuildings, to let them know if anything was moved or anything left behind that wasn't there for the day before. Security cameras captured 2 unidentified individuals near Sebastian Rogers' home around 3:10 a.m. In the early morning hours of February 26. There's also, which we've talked about in in a lot of detail, is the person in the green hoodie who was identified, who remains unknown, that was observed at the Texas Roadhouse. We also know that law enforcement would be collecting such things like witnesses' accounts, right? We heard that many of the neighbors came forward. That's when we heard that Sebastian may have been under a vehicle at some point, right? I hope footage from BS area was turned in as well. I've always thought about that, but we've never heard one single public call from law enforcement for them to look. Everybody in and around the Hendersonville area, but not one time did they say, just check your security footage, Gallatin, White House, all of Sumner County, or anything like that. So we really don't know, Beth. We really don't know. Oh, thank you. Cheryl Light became the newest member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. God bless you and welcome to the Insane Asylum. Aw, thank you, Grace upon Grace. God bless you for that as well. So witnesses account. This is where they're going to be talking to neighbors, other family members, and any individual who may have seen or interacted with Sebastian or his mom, which includes the green hoodie guy, or suspicious activity in the area before or after his disappearance, such as surveillance camera that picked up the lights in the common area on the outside of Sebastian's house. Okay. So these are the things that they would be getting: surveillance footage, witness account, and digital footprint, right? So what is a digital footprint? Data from phones, computers, and other electronic devices, such as that Apple Watch we saw on Katie's arm, right? That would hold useful data on it about her movements, her steps, her even how if her blood pressure went up, right? She's got a rapider pace heartbeat. I mean, these things measure your heartbeat as well. So that would be something that would be used by Sebastian or another member in the household, which mom and stepdad are another member in the household. He has 2 households. This would also include Seth Rogers as well. This includes search history, messages, and location data. This is something that would be easily obtained by law enforcement in probably some of the first actual evidence that would have been turned back over to law enforcement for review. Now, the next one is a little iffy because we're talking about forensic evidence from the home. And I have to say homes because, again, we have 2 in the situation of Sebastian Rogers. So any physical evidence, such as fingerprints, which we know they didn't take, shoe prints, which we don't know whether they've looked around for shoe prints, but we also heard that Sebastian Rogers would have been barefoot. So I wonder if they saw any barefoot footprints in any of the dirt in the surrounding areas immediately around that child's home. We don't know. Items out of place. Were any items out of place? Who would really know whether or not items are out of place? I guess maybe dust patterns, maybe impressions in the rugs or the carpets might help guide them with that. But we personally in the public don't know. This can help determine if there was a break-in, a struggle, or external interference, right? And this is also information that we would not have or be a privy to unless law enforcement goes public with some points of this information. As far as we know, we heard no fingerprints were taken that morning, which I think is a total shame because they said he went out a very specific door. And if they would have fingerprint that and not find smudged fingerprints or the door had been wiped down, that would have been very telling, in my opinion. So those fingerprints on that door, in my opinion, are crucial. Whether they would have got any usable prints or not, it would have at least stated and showed them whether or not that door had been wiped down. We know the fingerprints were not taken that morning. Sebastian was reported missing. Tracking personal belongings, and this goes back again to, what is missing from the home. Is there clothing or possessions that Sebastian might have taken that could indicate, say, an abduction or another theory? We're told by the mom and the stepdad, nothing, and I mean nothing else, was missing at the time of his disappearance. Nothing was taken. His shoes were left behind. His jacket were left behind. His backpack, his school notes, his beloved Switch, the snacks that they had just purchased from BJ's that morning, earlier that day, the day before, was untouched. No money was taken. Nothing was taken. This is a highly functioning autistic boy with a young intellect. You're talking about somebody that would probably stuff their entire backpack with their toys, right? Because of their intellect. And nothing was missing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Except maybe a little keychain flashlight, right? Maybe. And we don't even know if that was true because we heard prior to this how many times they made him take everything in his room and throw it in the garbage. How do we know the reason why she can't find that keychain is because the stepfather threw it in the garbage? And why would a boy take a keychain as opposed to a cell phone or a Switch? Or shoes? Right? They made us think he had the mind of a 5-year-old, yet we saw proof he was mannered, and his teachers said he was great. That is absolutely right, Passion Flower. That was absolutely right. We've been deceived by the mom and stepdad related to his behaviors. Why? I think is what our next question should be. Why would they do that? That needs to always be the next question. Ginger Girl says, in my opinion, LE not finding scent bothered them. I remembered hearing on the dispatch that all officers were called back to the home to regroup and start the search from the home. You are absolutely correct. And this is what gives me, gives me a little hope with the investigation and the investigators. However, the lack of forensics immediately and the lack of fingerprints immediately really rubbed me the wrong way, period. Especially in light of them not feeling comfortable about the information, kind of feeling those early hours, something not being right. They should have been very strategic in getting the fingerprinting and the forensics done inside that home that day before they left. They should have closed that house down from anybody going in or out of it and put all the people outside the house in the front yard like they do for every other case. It's always going to sit wrong with us, but at some point we have to get over it. We have to try to move past our frustration in that. Oh, thank you, Gypsy. Gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, Izzy girl. gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Michelle gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. My goodness, if you guys received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, don't forget to either tell Patty, Pam, Gypsy, Izzy Girl, and Michelle, thank you for their contribution and your membership. Thank you so much, guys. So we have some issues. We have some issues here when it comes to those belongings and not being with them, and of course the forensics. We're all going to have that pit in our stomach that's always going to scream, was enough done? Is this hindering the investigation now? Is this enabling them from finding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? But we also have to remember that the most critical person, Seth Rogers, is feeling a little bit of hope. He feels that law enforcement has kind of redeemed themselves in part in his eyes, and we want to support that. Behavioral analysis of the family members is going to be another key aspect that law enforcement looks at. Law enforcement assesses the consistency of statements from family members and other usual behaviors and unusual behaviors, rather, before or after Sebastian's disappearance. I think that law enforcement should have more than enough evidence of this behaviors or inconsistencies or the consistencies of the statements because the public, we have enough evidence to support the inconsistent and unusual behaviors of certain family members, including the mom and stepdad. So I do believe that they are looking at this. I think they would have to look at this. You know, law enforcement does look at people's behaviors. Don't ever think law enforcement doesn't speculate. Law enforcement speculates on every single case so they know where they need to start looking for potential leads and evidence. So don't ever feel like law enforcement doesn't speculate. They always say, you shouldn't speculate on this and you shouldn't speculate on that. Look, I know a lot of law enforcement officers. I know people from the FBI. I know retired CIA people. I know investigators all over this country, but more importantly, here in the state of Florida. And I do have an opportunity here and there to speak with them and pick their brain. They do speculate. That's how they start, you know, going out and looking for the leads in these cases. Sometimes the leads are hard to find. It's easy when people are calling in information, but when that information lead source stops, they have to start thinking outside the box and start finding other ways to prove their case. One of those options is geolocation data, which we do not have. What is geolocation data? So I just did a simple Google search related to geolocation data, and this is kind of what we read. Geolocation data is information that identifies the geographical location of a device or user. So this is the cell phones, this is the vehicle, infotainment center, this is smartwatches, this is your, tracking devices such as those tags, Apple tags, usually obtained through methods like GPS coordinates, IP address tracking, Wi-Fi triangulation, or cellular network signals, allowing applications to pinpoint a user's location on a map and to provide location-based services like navigating or targeting advertisement. This is also critically used in finding information in cold cases, and are not just cold cases, but in cases where people are missing or there have been homicides or other crimes committed. They use this geolocation data. Now, a little bit more information that they will be collecting is obviously the community tips and leads. This is information from individuals who may have seen Sebastian, the person in the green hoodie, so to speak, or any activity that seemed unusual in the area. either before or after his disappearance. And of course, we know that law enforcement is paying critical attention to social media and online activity, reviewing posts, messages, and other communications that offer clues about Sebastian's state of mind or plans leading up to his disappearance. However, we also have clues from many online interviews with the mom and with what the mom and stepdad have done and interviewed with. So they're going to be looking at not only the patterns of the people around Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, but his own patterns, his own state of mind and plans leading up to his disappearance. What were they? Well, we can definitely see those in some of the videos that we've read, or excuse me, that we've saw over the last few days, right? My autistic brother takes his backpack when he goes to Walmart, as he is also high functioning. Right. And I think that's one of the reasons why the teacher had such a big problem with the possibility or the potential of him just walking out with no personal belongings at all. So we do have a lot of people that have known this young man saying he would not do that. Okay. People independent of the mom and stepfather. And those people are the ones that we have to, trust, because the mom and stepdad, in my opinion, have a reason why they would or may want to be dishonest. So we have to look at all of that and all of that information. And then lastly, the search efforts. The search efforts, we don't know what was garnered from those search efforts they did, that law enforcement did. We have a little insight on the search efforts that Seth did early on in the case. Remember, it did reveal a pair of glasses that was bagged and tagged. One person had found potential pants. All of these things, law enforcement said, are not Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Findings from the ground search near the home and areas of interest included wooded regions and buildings, and we never found out the results of any of those searches other than he was not located. What are the challenges of this case? I really tried to dig deep and tried to identify, maybe some key factors of challenges, and I came up with two major challenges: the lack of confirmed sightings or physical evidence linking anyone to the case, and suspicion around the family dynamic and potential withholding of information would complicate this investigation. Identifying the individual in the green hoodie and corroborating their connection to the scene appears to be a key focus, at least for the time being, either to disprove involvement or prove involvement. And even if not involved, what did they talk about? What did he see? What was the interaction and engagement with the mom all about? Based on available information surrounding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' disappearance, it's difficult to arrive at a definitive conclusion. But here are some considerations. Voluntary runaway or coercion, right? Given Sebastian's vulnerabilities as an autistic teenager, it's unlikely, and I repeat that again, it's unlikely that he left voluntarily without a clear plan or assistance. And there's no clear plan here. There's no text messaging to people. There's no threatening the mom and dad or mom and stepdad that he's going to run away from home. There's no collection of money. There's no storing of food. There's just nothing here that shows this plan that Sebastian had of running away from home. The involvement of the individual seen in the security footage, especially the person in security footage, I mean, related to the lights video on the outside of their home. And especially the new stuff that just came to light with the person in the green hoodie suggests he may have been lured or coerced from his home potentially. And during all of this, remember, the mom and stepdad were so adamant that this boy that never ran away from home, and no other possibility could have been thought of. And for many parents, that just doesn't bode with reality. You know, we absolutely would never think that our child would run away. I mean, even a child that has run away before, we never believe that they would run away again. You know, this child never ran away from home from everything we've heard about this child. So why would that be their automatic assumption as to what happened to him instead of something else that would bode with what we're seeing and hearing? I can't imagine how Seth feels, the not knowing where his baby is. It's hard enough to lose your child, knowing how they passed. And it being peaceful, but not knowing what happened, I can't imagine. I agree with that statement. So there's also the other theory of foul play, and the lack of physical evidence, the absence of communication from Sebastian, and the unresolved identity of the green hoodie figure or the lights on the side of his house point to the possibility of more nefarious means. However, law enforcement has not confirmed any direct evidence of foul play, and I put the caveat on here of yet. They haven't confirmed any direct evidence of foul play yet. And, you know, this actually may not be accurate. It may not be accurate. They may have a wealth of evidence that supports foul play, but it has not been released to the public because it goes to the integrity of the investigation. Good morning, Outer Banks. It's nice to see you up in the chat. Somebody who has a handicap placard because she has multiple sclerosis, chronic pain from arthritis, and looks sick to most people. That's who I am. Who are you? What? Outer Banks, somebody who has a handicap placard. Well, let's not be rude, Harley, to the audience here. KP didn't hand the menu to Sebastian. She just kind of glided it over to him. She didn't care if he caught it or not. She has an attitude problem. She doesn't even smile. What's wrong with her? So detached. Passion flower, it does appear that way. It does appear that way. So the family dynamic is going to be also some observations and theories that we may have. The public suspicion about the mother and stepfather stem from perceived inconsistencies in their behavior and statements. If there was tension or concealment of critical details, this could indicate either a tragic accident or knowledge of external involvement that has not been fully disclosed. The community role, given the extensive search efforts and the publicized over $200,000 reward, the lack of tangible progress might suggest that key details are still undisclosed or have been overlooked. Unintentional harm. Some theories speculate whether an incident within the home led to panic and a subsequent cover-up. However, this remains speculative without evidence. So what is my perspective? I think many of you guys know my perspective, but if I had to put it in a more concise way, I think this kind of sums it up. The two critical pieces of this case are the security footage showing individuals near the home and the family's timeline of events. You guys notice I didn't say anything about the green hoodie guy. I think it's the security footage of the two individuals near the home and the family's timeline of events. Identifying the green hoodie individual is essential, in my opinion, as this could hold the key to the case or confirm whether Sebastian encountered danger that night or what conversation was exchanged. The case requires further forensic and behavioral analysis, which some of those behavioral analysis we've had an opportunity to see on the interview room, where they've had Steve Johnson on there and some other people with other different skill sets that would help with the behavioral analysis aspect of this. including the phone and digital records of all parties involved to better understand the circumstances. I also believe that law enforcement is likely keeping crucial details under wraps, but public cooperation and persistence in sharing Sebastian's story are vital. This is obviously a heartbreaking and complicated case that needs clarity from both investigators, breakthrough, and honest communication from all parties. So right now, we're not really having a whole lot of investigative breakthroughs, but we are getting some additional information about the case, such as the new videos that surfaced from the Texas Roadhouse. That's giving us a little insight. It's giving us something to observe to see if there's anything out of place. I mean, first thing I think that we all notice is the behavior of the victim as well as the mother or the person that's with the victim. I call him a victim because he's a missing kid and he hasn't made it home yet. To me, he's a victim of missing right now. It seems like based on new information, new revelations about 5 CPS reports and the fact that his mother has been trying to rehome him since October of 2022, we are looking very closely at her behavior and how she treats her son, which I think many of us really don't like how she treats her son. And I don't think, I think we didn't like the way her or her husband treated her son, even before we found out that he was, they were trying to get rid of him, rehome him since October of 2022. And then we find out there's 5, and I repeat, 5 different reports on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, which is very concerning, related to either his stepfather or his mom. We don't know which. We've not seen these reports. We just know that they can't be good. Seth has made several outbursts about how Sebastian should have had a protective order against his stepfather. But we don't know what that means, other than it sounds like the reports are pretty bad. You know, that's the only thing I can kind of take away from that. So that's kind of my analysis, you know, as we're kind of looking at this. I really want to bring my audience into what law enforcement may have, because in all fairness, we have been very ultra critical of law enforcement on this channel because of their behavior toward the father. That everything I've looked into, you know, granted, I'm not law enforcement and I'm not a decision maker in Sumner County, but I can tell you that everything I've seen related to Seth Rogers, it proves his innocence, and them withholding critical information to help a father sleep a little better at night. Not public information that can be shared to the public, just information, conversations to the father, those have been had. I'm hopeful that law enforcement, we know that they didn't do everything they should have done at the beginning. I know that without a thought in my mind, just by statements from the mom and the stepfather in interviews. So I still maintain that they should have followed the directive of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But they still have done an investigation. And I still think it's important that our audience know what they would most likely have in their possession, custody, and control from those investigations, you know, such as critical forensic data, movements of the mom and the stepfather or other people in and around the family, text messages, all those types of things they would have. The hopeful message that Seth Rogers had, you know, brings me a little hope as well, from somebody that wasn't feeling so comfortable or confident that Sebastian would ever be found or ever be brought home safely. We still try like hell to facilitate and make sure that the best possibility could come true, right? But that gave me hope, and I think it gave a lot of people here in our community hope, seeing him, the most critical person of law enforcement in their handling of his son, taking a breath of a little fresh air and having a little more light back into his eyes, you know, for his son. So I'm very, very thankful that he expressed those sentiments on Channel 2 News. And it does kind of give me a little more confidence that, I feel comfortable that law enforcement is doing some of the things that we didn't think they were doing. And so now I'm talking about some of those things that they very much and very well could have or already have done. So I hope that this is kind of enlightening to you guys and put in a, easy bite-size form. And I'm interested in learning a little bit about what you perceive in this case. We always go through opinions and speculations, and we're going to be going back around after going through this case yet again and trying to find out if anybody has an idea of where this young boy might be. Now, Elijah Vu was found on the outside of a ranch for kids or something to that effect. Now we're learning just in the last week and a half, that the mom and stepdad wanted to send Sebastian off to one of the homes. Has anybody searched around Bledsoe at all? I mean, I don't know if they have or not. I'm truly asking, because, maybe on the outskirts of that might hold some answers. Because it was something that was kept from the public. Why would it be kept from the public if they don't feel like anything's wrong with it? Why would they keep it from the public? If they're just doing what they think is best for their son, why wouldn't they have open discussions about that? Why is that yet another thing shoveled under the rug that they didn't expect to see the light of day? Well, here we are. And what about the 5 CPS reports? What about the 5 CPS reports? So I do want you guys to kind of, think about this for yourself. We're going to come back later tonight and have more discussions on this, but we're going to actually start bringing the audience in. I want you guys to go back and rewatch this and make note and start telling me and start thinking about what you believe are the most important aspects of this case so far. But more importantly, what do you feel Bledsoe is close to the crossroads identified by at night, in my opinion? I still think their grounds need to be searched. Why not? Or on the outskirts of their grounds, grounds maybe that they don't necessarily own. I don't know. But I also want you guys to think, while you're going back and rewatching this and going over all the stuff that we covered, I want you to come up with your own list, and I want to have a good discussion later this evening about the audience, because these are my assessments. These are my opinions. I'm just one person. I might not be thinking about everything. I'm obviously not thinking about everything. Maybe something that doesn't appear to be important to me is important to you. And it might be very well important to the case, and I'm just overlooking it. This is a great time for all of us to get on the same page and start focusing on some of the same information. So please start working on this if you guys would like to participate in this afternoon's live chat. I may open up the phone lines. I may not. We're still doing a full phone show on Friday as promised. Gypsy, you're in here. I know we've been dancing around bringing you up and interviewing you on the show. I'm thinking maybe today's Monday, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, if you are available. I'd like to interview you, find out who you are as a person and what you're doing on this crazy platform we call YouTube, right? So maybe we'll get that wrapped up this week. If you can reach out to me by email, we'll get that all coordinated for either Wednesday or Thursday, whatever time's best for you. And just start bringing some other content creators that are working these cases and stuff like that, and finding out what they'd like to what their passion is, right? Just learning a little more about them. So hold on, Teresa, I just popped up on me. If one sees a comment that is unsettling, refer to Sebastian. Yeah. I hope that our reference, it's just ref Sebastian. I hope that everyone has a beautiful, very blessed day. Stay safe out there, and we'll all see you later, God willing. Thank you, Written in the Stars. That's really, really sweet. I appreciate that. Don't forget, when you guys go to leave here, hit that thumbs up button for me. That really does help with the algorithm and other things. And as you know, we've been covering this case. This case has taken us on a lot of twists and turns. And we definitely want our findings out there. We definitely don't want the hate channels overrunning these platforms with disinformation and misinformation. So by hitting those thumbs up on good channels, you're getting the good message out there. So just remember that. Don't forget that. We all need the thumbs up. Mr. and Mrs. E, Justin for All, Brittany J, all of us that are doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do need to be propelled. So when you guys are in there, always remember to give those thumbs up for them, because it really does help them get that good messaging out there instead of all that hateful messaging out there. The good does rule over the hate. It's just that sometimes the good is just a little too nice, right? We're just a little too nice at times. Sometimes we're down. I'll get down in the gutter with somebody, you know. I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes you just got to fight fire with fire. It's not fun for me at all. It doesn't make me feel good, but it is what it is. So don't forget that the good creators out there passing around great messaging need to have your thumbs up. That is the only thing that's going to persist over all this BS on these channels. So don't forget, hit those thumbs up. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But it's the holidays. So go out, get out of yourself, and do something kind for a perfect stranger in Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' honor. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. We'll be back later tonight. I'll be putting together some videos. It may not be about this subject. There's a lot of news going on, and it's the holidays, so we get some of the craziest news this time of the year. So I'll be trying to find some of that so you guys are well-versed in what's going on there outside of the Sebastian Rogers case. So stay tuned. We will be back later this evening to continue our discussion with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. For now, toodles. Toodles, 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 boodles.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.